Welcome to a brand new episode of the Real Life Podcast, a member of the Nation network of podcasts and delivered by DoorDash.
I'm guessing my math is going to be incorrect. So if you're listening to this,
using the bag milk intro on a day that bag milk's not even on the show. Episode 342 of the Real Life Podcast. Tyler, Chalmers, Wanye, no bagged milk, no Jay, even though he said, give me a few minutes. And then we waited 10 and just decided, we're going to roll through this thing because why not?
We could talk about a lot of things, or I could tell you about my dream with Drake in it. You tell me how you want to start this podcast.
I'm going to start by saying the podcast is brought to you by the HGA Group, as it always is, here to help your business thrive in 2022. The HGA Group there for you. And now I'm going to say I absolutely want to hear this Drake dream.
I feel like HGA would want to hear about a Drake dream. I feel like this is sort of in their wheelhouse of like dream big, use HGA to advance your dreams. You know, my dreams involve Drake. Legit dream. Full disclosure, I was watching a YMCMB documentary right before I went to bed, which probably carried through. But in my dream, I was hanging out with Drake and I had a very cogent conversation with him where I was like telling him why I love him so much. And I was like, Drake, I used to watch Degrassi. And it was for me the new Degrassi. Like my Degrassi was like the old Degrassi, and then you were new Degrassi. And I also love Lil Wayne. So when you signed to Lil Wayne, all my worlds were colliding. And he's like, oh, damn. And then I hit him with a line. It'd be like if Joey Jeremiah had ended up being the lead singer of Metallica. And then we were laughing and laughing. Like Dream Drake loves to laugh. And then I woke up. That's a good line.
The Zit Remedy? Remember the Zit Remedy?
Yeah, man. You remember that shit?
Oh, yeah.
Drake's ascent is just so insane. Like to see how a guy who literally couldn't have had less street cred if he had been born upside down. Like there was no way this guy had anything going for him as a brand other than being the guy from Degrassi. Lil Wayne was just like, that's no problem. I got brand for days. And then away they went. You know, he has more number. Huh? Charles?
Oh, I was going to say, I've had a dream with Drake in it a couple times. I have dreams where I hang out with lots of superstars. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know you do. Your dreams are good. And I always remember him, too.
I come out, I like straight freestyle with them and become part of like their crew and shit. It's fucking so weird.
You're lucky. Your dreams are like good show storylines.
In my dream, I'm like, I might be the best fucking rapper alive ever made, straight up. Wish I could remember those verses.
I remember one time we were kids, Chalmers, we were hanging out after the bar. It was like hangover morning. You're like, oh, I'm exhausted. What do you mean you're exhausted? I came home with you. We've been all here. You're like, no, I was dreaming about fighting gunmen in my mom's kitchen in my sleep. And there was trees everywhere. And I was like thrashing around in my sleep. So now I'm tired. It's like, jeez, this guy's vivid.
Yaremchuk, I probably have a dream a week where I am fighting in like war style fighting. And it's always different weird areas. Like it'll be a kitchen or like a mall or something like that. And it's like a video game where there's bullets flying around everywhere. And I can never find the right bullets that fit my gun. And so when I do finally get bullets to go in the gun and then I go to shoot the gun, the bullet just like falls out of the gun. It doesn't actually like shoot. So I have to get like right up close to them and put it right up to them and like shoot the gun. And I'm in like a war. I don't know, because I'm fascinated with war. And like the video games just creep in. It's a stressful dream, I'll tell you. But I have it a lot.
How often do you like vividly remember your dreams?
If I have one, I vividly remember it, and I probably have 4 a week.
Okay,
I'd say 4 out of 7. Yeah, 4 or 5. I mean, if I sit up in the morning, I can really like think about it and remember it. I'm trying to think of the one I've been. Oh God, I always have. I had the one I had last night had to do with like flying and stuff. So I think those are good ones, right? Like the ones where you're flying, like you're on like I was on scaffolding. I'm on a scaffolding a lot, and it's like swaying, and there's like no bars at the top, and it's just like swaying. Or I'm on the top of a building, and it's got no fence around it, and it's like.
What do you do, Dream Chalmers? What do you do?
Oh, I just freak out and try to get down, try to find a stairwell. I don't really know. Those ones are weird. I don't like those ones very much. They stress me out. I think that's my height. I think that's my scared of height. I was just so funny you bring this up because now I'm drawing a blank. Well, yeah, I'm scared of like that kind of height. If I want to really
walking ladder work all day long. You're always on a ladder.
I don't really get up on them that much, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't.
No.
I mean, no, not really at all. But I had a dream the other day, and I woke up and I was like, "You're having this dream a lot lately. You need to look into what it means straight up." Because like, you know, one's about flying, they're good. I have the one, I've said this on the podcast before, but like where I'm either trying to play hockey and I'm trying to get to hockey and I'm always short like a skate or a stick and I can just never get on the ice. And finally, by the time I get all my shit together and it's like such an important game and there's like people in the crowd and like that I want to see and I want to go out there and like perform for them, but I can never get out there. And finally, when I do, the game's over. And I hate that one. That one stressed me out. But it's also with golf. I'm always trying to hit like a tee shot and there's always something in the way. It's like
these are all the same dream, Chalmers. It's the same root thing of like you're trying to do A, but you can't do it because of B, and because you don't have B, you can't do A. It's the same dream.
Pretty much. And it's like I don't know what that means. I guess I'm also the guy that like can't get to paperwork until my desk is organized. So I like spend all my time organizing my desk and then never really get to like the root paperwork that I was trying to get to.
It's like general frustration dreams, right? I always have the dream where I have an exam in university, even though I've been in university 1,000 years. And every single time in my dream, the process is the same. I'm like, oh shit, you mean to tell me we have a test? Oh, I'm just going to cheat. And then it's like me wrestling with my conscience about cheating.
Oh yeah. I've had
that's my recurring thing in life.
What's yours, Yaremchuk?
I remember I had a few when I was a kid, like certain things I would dream about all the time when I was really little, like dogs driving cars.
Unbelievable.
But like actually just a dog driving a car. I used to dream about that all the time when I was a little kid. But now
How do they conduct their business though? Just hold on. I got to ask a few questions about the dogs. Are they driving people cars or special dog cars?
Just people cars, like driving a truck.
Are they eye high? Can they see over the wheel?
Yes. And they sit straight up with like paws on the wheel. That was the recurring dream.
Are they good with the driving or are they all over the road?
I don't remember that much. I just remember I used to always have dreams about dogs driving cars like normal people.
Interesting.
So that was the one I always had as a kid. Now I don't really have a lot of like recurring dreams too much now. I don't remember mine too often. Like I would say maybe once a week, I like really remember what I dreamt about the night before. But other than that, I just kind of wake up and it's like, oh shit, I'm awake.
You should write them down. That's what I do, right? That's where the Noodle King dream came from. Because I wrote it down. I have a little pad of paper beside my bed. Those are the types of dreams I would never remember like past my morning shower. But because I write them down when they're right there, it's actually pretty hilarious.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, the thing about dreams too is like when I was going through a time when like they were really vivid, like vivid, where even in the dream, like I knew I was dreaming and I was like somewhat understanding that I was in a dream. So I like, I don't know how I got onto it, but I listened to this like dream podcast once where they told that like people can actually become coherent in realizing and somewhat
take control of the dream.
Take control of it, man. And it's like step one is realizing you're in it and knowing when you're in it. And then if you can do that successfully, you can move on to like step 2, which is like being able to interact and control the scenarios that go on in the dream. And
I swear though, if you can like turn your dream, if you can turn your dream into your own personal Super Mario Brothers where you're doing whatever you want, you're like next level Jedi. I don't think too many cats can do that shit.
No,
you can theoretically.
No. Could you imagine though? That would be unbelievable. Because like like the good dreams that I have are always where we're at a resort or like a ski trip or something, and all of our friends are there, and it's just like
nice.
Everywhere you turn, it's a good time, right? Those are the ones you wake up from and you're like, that was sweet. That was so much fun. Right? I love those. I think then, but hey, there's other ones where you wake up like.
Do you ever have nightmares, Charles? I never have nightmares. No. Never ever.
No, never.
Yaremchuk, you ever have nightmares?
No. And I was thinking about the time when I was actually pretty close to having something like that happen, where in my dream, it wasn't a nightmare, but it wasn't like a good dream. Like there was like, I was facing some problems in the dream. And I remember waking up the next morning and being like, in my dream, I was telling myself like, wake up, just wake up and get out of this. If you wake up, this isn't going to be real anymore. But like, I couldn't wake up. And I think because my brother-in-law, my sister, they say that if they eat like dark chocolate before bed, their dreams are more vivid. I don't know if that's a legit thing or just something they peddle. But that night, I know
the chocolate industry, they sell chocolate. Chocolate products? No, they don't.
There's there's things that can trigger it. Cold for me. If I'm in a really, really cold room, that usually is when it happens. And so like recently, like the last week, I haven't been able to open my window because it'll straight up be so cold in my room. And so it's been a little bit warmer in there. And I have, like, this past week, I really have not been as much. But when I'm sleeping and every night it's really, really cold, that's when I'll have like a week's worth of like really fucking good, vivid dreams. So I don't believe maybe it's that the food can trigger it. Maybe if they're right with dark chocolate, like that's.
But I think some people just naturally dream vividly. Like, as long as I've known you, Chalmers, you've consistently remembered crazy dream plots that sound like 20-minute TV shows.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I think part of it, when I had the day where I could like tell in my dream I was dreaming, I had a hockey game that night. And when I came home, I was hungry and my snack was, I had a Snickers. I just ate a Snickers at like midnight before I went to bed. So I do think like maybe the chocolate like wakes up, like stimulates your brain a little bit maybe. And like, again, I don't know any of this.
Snack? Jeez Louise, look at the nougat.
I know. It was
a caramel core.
Jay's here. Jay, how often do you remember your dreams?
The HGA pop-in?
Yeah, the HGA pop-in.
Follow your dreams, HGA.
I've got like a shelf life of memory. Like I like when you're in them, you're like, holy shit, this is like, especially if it's a vivid one, you're like, this is so fucking real. And like, I'll remember it for like the first 2 hours of my day. But then if I try to go and recall it, like I don't remember like the details that I do. And
can you control the dream, Jay? Can you do stuff in the dream, like take control?
No. Because I'm always out of control. It's always like, you're sitting in the stands of the Oiler game, and all of a sudden, they need a left defenseman to come into the game, and you're play there.
Yeah,
and you get to go and play. And for some reason, you can't get on the ice, or you can't find your stick, or like you can't there's some weird thing that's preventing you from going and like realizing this amazing opportunity.
JR, I've also before you jumped in, I told the exact same thing. The exact same one too.
It happens so many times. Like in my mind, in my dreams, like in my metaverse, if you will, I've played about 30 NHL games, and I'm like convinced of it. Like you go into Hockey DB, it's Dream Jay, and there is a page that I'm there that's got like NHL stats, and I'm like convinced of it when I sleep.
That's like Dream Chalmers' rap credentials are flawless. He's the best rapper in the crew.
Best freestyler alive. I just win rap battles against Eminem.
Do you rap, Chalmers, in the dreams? Like, are you delivering fire verses off the dome?
And like, if I woke up and wrote down exactly what I just said, in my mind, it was the greatest fucking lyrics ever produced. But if I wrote them down, they probably are just the absolute worst thing you've ever heard in your life. But in the moment, and when everybody's going crazy, I'm just like, yeah, I knew I could do this. I knew I could do this in real life if I tried. But yeah. I told him one about how I'm always trying to tee up on like a golf. I'm always trying to hit my driver. And I can never, there's always something in the way, like something obstructing my swing. And then you re-tee, and then there's something like now in the way somewhere else, and you can never get your shot off.
Yeah, and I have that same dream in both golf and hockey, where like either the stick or the golf club is uncontrollably going from toe to heel, and I can't stop it, which is preventing me from making a shot or making a play or hit or like swinging the golf club. And I'm like, why can't I stop this? This is so like in my control. And then that's where like I'll have like within my dream that reality that I'm like, oh shit, Jay, this is just a dream.
Anybody
I've also been
this is like is an analyzer of dreams and knows what this shit means. Hit us up.
Well, talk to Dr. Pearl Gregor. She'll analyze the shit out of it. This is her specialty. But I've also been shot a bunch. Like I've had hot lead in my body.
You can feel the injury in the dream.
I have felt myself get absolutely like gauntlet gunned in with those weird dreams. I used to take melatonin from time to time. That shit gives me the weirdest, most vividest dreams. I had to stop because like the dreams are stressing me out.
I get that.
I want to try melatonin now. I want to stress that.
Unrelated. Soldier Boy has his own type of lean, like cough syrup, but it doesn't have promethazine, the illegal ingredient. It has just melatonin. And apparently it's delicious.
So
well,
it's
that Bob
just
Marley drink has got melatonin. Like it's like a
Does it?
chill drink. I don't like melatonin. I don't know.
The
Like
chill iced tea?
To each their own. Some people like swear by it and need it for sleep, but like, oh.
Speaking of lean, and because I just don't want to talk about the Oilers right now.
Have you
guys heard about this new series on HBO called Music Box, which like is a documentary about, it's a 6-part documentary. It's all about a different like sort of musical act or concert. So there's one on DMX. There's one on Woodstock 99. There's one on Alanis Morissette. There's one on some guy in the 70s who was like, I don't even know what that one's about. But the one in particular that I watched was on Juice WRLD. Now, because I like old school rap a little bit more than new school, not because for any reason, I'm not trying to be like a old school, fuck, that's better back in my day type of thing. I just don't pay that close attention. Yeah. But Juice WRLD, like that dude came on with like an absolute, like a firecracker. Hey, and they follow him around for like basically 1 full year from becoming like Juice WRLD to basically the day he died. And it is not only one of the most fascinating things just to see how it didn't affect him in a negative way from being a jerk off, but how just that he became like a drug addict. And it was really, really ridiculously sad to watch. And you just basically watch all the enablers around him, you know, to the point where even the videographer, you see him being, interviewed while he's making this documentary. And he's like this clean cut dude, but just being around Juice WRLD and like popping perks and like drinking lean, this dude, when they're interviewing him after the fact, looks like he's aged about 10 years and it's only been like a year. It's crazy, man. And like,
he died because he swallowed all those drugs, right? On his private jet?
Yeah, he got off of a plane and just had a seizure and it killed him. And, you know, it rocked. But he was at like the height. He was playing so many stadium tours and it was keeping him going. But just what you have to analyze is the background of this whole thing. You watch his girlfriend, you watch like the people in the hotel room, everything that these people are doing are just designed to get him to a position where he can perform. We're talking about like, you've got your lean guy sitting over here who's like getting your cough syrup and your Sprite together and mixing it perfectly. And then his girlfriend's constantly like making sure and measuring out these pills. And then you've got the guy in the background who's just like setting up his Xbox in the hotel because that's what he wants to do when he's not performing. And it's just like the team around him of enablers just got so out of control. There was nobody there to tell them like stop. And he never even got a chance really because he just died like immediately, like just out of the blue, right? So and then you watch that one and then juxtapose it against the DMX one where these guys are fucking high the whole time and not even like trying to hide it. It's awful to watch. The DMX one, you just watch for an hour and a half. It's cringeworthy. It's just really tough to watch. But at the same time, like Juice WRLD would be such a mess off the stage, and then he'd get on the stage and they would just put on these amazing performances. You know what I mean?
It's crazy how people can do that. They can clean themselves up, like Keith Richards, right? How fucked up has he been his entire life? And yet, when you never see, I've never heard of Keith Richards being so fucked up he couldn't play at a show. Never.
No. And then, you know what? This actually is kind of funny that this ties in, but this morning, I don't know, did you see a post on Instagram by Lil Xan, who is calling out.
Blaming his managers.
Status quo for like basically supplying him with drugs to keep him on stage. Like Lil Xan, I know what you're doing now and I get it, but at the same time.
But your name is Lil Xan, you dipshit, before Stack found you.
You were on a tour and you couldn't perform because you were having withdrawals. You needed the drugs. Like, why didn't you take control of your life and like say, I mean, maybe it's tough. But at the same time, it's like this machine, right? You could, and then that's kind of what I mean by looking in the background of Juice WRLD and seeing like the machine around him that's just designed to get him in a spot where they can perform, right? And it's crazy. I watched obviously I had a lot of time over the Christmas break, so I watched a bunch of that stuff. But if you guys want to see something very cool, and then the Woodstock 99 documentary, unbelievable, turned into anarchy. Like you watch that one too. Yeah, so it's called Music Box. Watch it. You guys.
And what streaming service? Where is this? How do I find this?
It's on Crave, HBO Crave.
Crave, yeah.
You guys once talked about Bad Sport, right? Have you guys seen the Bad Sport? So
I haven't dug into it yet.
I haven't watched them yet. I want to though.
I only watched one where a guy back in the early 1980s basically fell into like selling small amounts of drugs, but he really wanted to be a race car driver, and he like basically ended up like becoming a huge drug dealer to support his race car habit. And it is so cool.
Oldest story in Hollywood.
Yeah. Check out that one too. Bad Sport. I watched a lot of fucking stuff over, and the only time I napped basically was during the Oilers games because I fell asleep. That was prime napping on New Year's Day at noon watching that game. What a bore fest.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was boring.
What's going on?
Are we talking about the Oilers or?
Okay, well,
should we?
Let's do an ad, Yaremchuk.
Yeah, let's do an ad for our friends at Twig and Berries, twigandberries.ca. They got some great promos going on right now. And as always, like it has been for like 3 years now, promo code NATION15 gets you 15% off. If you haven't shopped at Twig and Berries yet, how many more times do I have to tell you that the product is quality? Anyways, yeah, the Oilers, not good. This really feels similar to like when they lost those games to LA and Seattle. And I talked about this on the Sherwood-Ford pregame show with Caroline, but they lost to Seattle, they lost to LA, and kind of sat there and went, well, they dropped 2 easy ones, and now the schedule gets hard again. And they lost to the Islanders, they lost to the Devils. Now you're staring down the barrel of matchups against the Rangers and the Leafs. And like they can beat the Rangers. Rangers won't have Panarin. It's a winnable game still. Every game's winnable in today's NHL. But the point is you let points slip against 2 bad teams, and now you got to go play 2 good teams. And it's just like,
how much do we put on, 19 and the impact that's having on lineups? Connor doesn't score for 8 straight games. That shit doesn't happen very often. Well, how much do we panic? Yaremchuk?
I don't think you can use COVID as an excuse because every team in the league has the same.
But the Oilers were not icing their proper lineup. Like when you're doing emergency.
But wow. But like where? Which games? And like,
well, New Jersey and New York, they had. Didn't they have Weirdo D and Nurse wasn't there? And there was 7 guys that played against the Seattle game. 7 guys were out of the lineup for the next game, whatever that was after Christmas.
Yeah, like against the Blues, they were missing a few bodies. But I mean, the last 2, everyone but Cassian has pretty much been playing for the most part. It's inexcusable. Like they're not good, and something needs to change. Like I'm not even being optimistic about it anymore because they're tied for a playoff spot right now. And if things keep going this way, they're going to miss the playoffs. Like that's the bottom line. Miss the
playoffs. There's no way.
They're bad.
It's a good thing we banked those points in the start of the season because we're starting to spend them right now. But it is bad. It's fucking like they've got no gas.
None.
They've got small sports. They can't play 60 minutes of fucking hockey. And our goaltending is horrific. Our defense is not great. And we can't score 5-on-5.
Similar to what Chalmers said, the games are boring. Like even that game against the Devils, like it was high scoring, but it was like, fuck, the Oilers had nothing going. They were finding ways to find the back of the net, but it was like, they didn't look like a good team in that game. And then Mike Smith couldn't make a save, and they probably deserved to some extent maybe to get the 2 points there, but they couldn't get a save. And then you go to the game against the Islanders and they start off like shit again, like they do pretty much every single game. The second period, they show up and they dominate. It's in the Islanders end like the whole period. And then the third period comes and they can't complete a pass. They can't, nothing. It's just, I'm done even trying to like wrap my head around it.
You can't, you can't explain it. Like they're Jekyll and Hyde in game. It's not like one game they're on, one game they're off. They're on and off in game. Like how the fuck do you lose your mojo in game? I don't know, man. Something needs to go on. We need to fucking sage the dressing room. We need to fucking do a smudge. We need to do fucking something because what's happening, they are not fucking clicking. And I don't know what to blame. Everyone can say fire Tippett, fire Holland, do this, do that. And sure, maybe there's some truth to that. But like this team just needs to fucking wake the fuck up because they are sleeping. Like they are not fucking moving. They're not moving.
But this is where
a lot of these goals against is just laziness.
we're all pin this a little bit on the coach. You know who has been moving? Ryan McLeod. He was great against the Devils. He was maybe one of their
That was his best game.
Best game. And he followed it up. He was good against the Islanders too. And in both games, he played the lowest amount of minutes amongst the forwards. Against the Islanders,
especially when you're slumping, you got to ride your hot horses and give them all the opportunity.
When he was on the ice against the Islanders, the Oilers outshot them 3-1. And he played 9 minutes and 40 seconds at even strength. Only player in the entire game to not play at least 10 minutes at 5-on-5.
That doesn't make sense. And
it doesn't make sense.
Shore on the second line. That's coaching.
It's coaching, and Devin Shore on the second line. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And I'm not like a huge Tyler Benson guy. I think he's, probably an NHL player, but that might end up being all he is. But at the end of the day, the guy has shown skill in the American League. Why do you not give him a look? Bump him up. Why not? You don't know what you have because you've never done it. Instead, it's just Dave Tippett, and it feels like we're beating our heads against a wall because it's just the same things every time. If Cassian's in the lineup, Cassian plays in the top six, or he puts McDavid and Draisaitl together, or then it's Shore because Cassian's out. And there's no creativity at all in terms of the construction of these lines and the way they're thrown out there.
Well, let's talk about roster construction. We don't have the depth to absorb any kind of changes where teams like Pittsburgh can be without Crosby and Malkin all the time, but somehow keep finding ways to win. Roster construction is an issue. Our bottom six is an issue because Nuge goes out and apparently we're supposed to now just start sucking. Even though we were sucking before, we can't absorb any kind of injuries. We have to have our best players all have to be healthy for us to have a chance. And that's a concern. So my caution to GM is let's make a fucking move. Let's make a big fucking move.
Frank said today on the DFO rundown that he's starting to hear Lawson Krause's name out there more than it was in the past.
I don't mind him as a third liner. That's fine.
But that right there, though.
Up? We can't lose this trade. We can't fucking lose this trade. We lose another fucking trade. I'm going to throw my fucking cell phone out this goddamn window.
No, the cold will rush in.
We're losing trades. We lose every fucking trade.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time
I think he just got up and left. He's so mad. That's crazy.
Well, it's got a new camo nation hat.
Oh,
now you're winning again.
50 nation gears look sick.
Yeah, I'm winning. Can they win?
I did.
Is that a 1 of 1, or is that going to be an item
for sale, son?
It's available at Sports Closet.
Very nice.
I need to come in and see sales guy Jared and get myself some of these new hats. If you missed it, we're now partnered up. We're not partnered up. We're using 59 or New Era as our hat supplier, right? So you can get 59.50 straight up nation gear. It's sick.
Yeah. That is with partnership with our friends at Sports Closet. They got the connection to pull that off. So it's super cool. But anyways, Oilers. I'm just, it is interesting the thoughts that have been going through my head the last few days about our team that we love so much. And at the end of the day, and I always have to preface this, I love the fucking Oilers. And it's because I love them so much, I'm so mad. And we need to fucking do something really fucking aggressive and drastic here, because expecting a different outcome from a team that, let's bring advanced stats into the mix, are not very good in the fancy stats world, that have the two fucking best players in the world. The fact that we are struggling the way we are and don't have any depth and had a bunch of cap space going in this off season and draft capital and haven't made any big splashes to address our fucking blind spots on this roster is fucking mind-blowing. Leon Draisaitl has 3 years left on his deal after this. 3 fucking years. If we don't do anything fucking now, he is gone. And then Connor is following him.
I'm going to ask you a question then. It starts tonight. It starts tonight with a get-right game, okay? What do we need to do then? It's confirmed McDavid's going to be playing, even though he's
solid effort. Try.
Hit someone. Show you give a shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. It looks like the team's given up.
It does look like the team's given up.
And I don't know why. It's fucking mind-blowing. We just came off of just buzzing around the fucking league for the first 6 weeks of it. And the last 6 weeks, we have just taken an absolute brain fart and are showing no urgency to try to repair the problem. Yeah, GM.
So how crazy are you suggesting we get here, Jay?
Well, I just want to see a better effort of the team. And we got to start.
We got to do something like a lineup change, like a move. We need to win a trade.
Bringing a Lawson Krause does a couple things. It addresses our fucking toughness and adds some depth on the third line. So I'm okay with that. But we need to make some other splashes. Let's leverage. We've got 3 and 4 years left of Leon and Connor. And if we do a really good job during this time, we can keep them. If we do a really bad job during this time, they're gone. Right?
Your F-bomb usage rate today is high.
And I said mentally my resolution is to swear less on the podcast. And I don't know. It's once emotions kick in, your brain turns off and the F-bomb.
We're talking about 3 years left of Draisaitl's contract and leaving. If you're not swearing, you're not paying attention.
So we need to leverage our future to address this 3 to 4 year window, and to also give us a chance to make sure it even extends by keeping these guys. So let's fucking make some moves. Let's trade some picks. Let's fucking get some. Let's get that defense we need. Let's get a goddamn goalie, and let's go find 2 Lawson Krauses to plug into our lineup to give us some more depth on our back end and make us more difficult to play against. Because the other fucking thing about us is we are soft as fucking baby shit, and it drives me crazy. Anytime a team becomes really physical against us, it mutes us. Teams are figuring out how to shut down Connor and Dry. Sure, they're still performing, but they're not 3 points a game anymore. The league's fucking woken up, and they're now focusing on that. And all that's the game plan against the Oilers. They silence those 2 guys, and they won't win. Exactly. Put 2 guys on them.
I want to see them.
Easy.
I want to see someone stand up in that locker room and say, let's treat it like a playoff game tonight against the Rangers. When you're out there, hit everything that moves. If you score a goal, like Leon Draisaitl, I get it. You're going to score 1 million goals and you get kind of bored with it. But when your team's in a slump, sometimes a big celebration might spark them. When you're skating by the Rangers bench tonight, bark at them a little bit.
Connor, go and put $25,000 on the board tonight. And I don't know if people know what the board is. That's players' money put up they put up whether playing, former teams or whatever that goes into the player fund. Connor, put an insane fucking number on the board and win, because you have to win for it to cash. And let's play for something, guys. I think these guys need to go out on a fucking bender or something to rejig their team mojo. So Connor, go lead the charge. Put 25, put 50 grand on the board. Go win that game. And when you got 2 days off somewhere, you guys go and have a fucking time.
25 grand. 25 grand when you divide it by how much Connor McDavid makes per game, he can put 25 grand on the board. Not that I'm here to tell him how to spend his money, but yeah, put some insane money on the board, go out there, hit everything that moves, give this team a spark. Cause right now the only guys scoring are McDavid and Draisaitl.
Put a bounty on Ryan Strome.
I don't think you want to be doing
Straight
that.
Up. If I was McDavid, I'd be sitting in that room thinking, why do I put my money up? These guys all get paid. These guys all get paid to do this for a living.
Because you're a leader. You need to be a leader.
He's doing this as a leader to just try to get a reaction out of the squad. He should be the most mad. So he should be the one. He's the captain. He should be trying to get the guys fired up.
Why haven't guys like Tyler Benson and Kyle Turris learn from Josh Archibald and just go out there, and you don't have to be the biggest player in the world to make an impact physically. You just have to go out there and want to do it. And Archibald
knows how to hit. It's a skill. Archibald knows how to hit, and he also quickly became a fan, not favorite, but he knows how to hit. That was one of his skills.
Yeah. Him and Cassian, man, they could run around and hit.
Benson, you're trying to turn a guy who set the Edmonton minor hockey league record for offense and was an offensive guy in junior. You're trying to turn him into a more physical player, even though that's not his game. And he's trying to do it so he can have an NHL career. But he doesn't have those fundamentals. He's just going out and trying. Sure, he goes and tries. He's not a great skater, so he can't. That's the one thing about Cass. If Cass is on, that guy can skate with the best of them and then destroy a guy because he can hit him with speed or keep up with him to make a check. But you're asking someone to completely change and become something that he's not. It's not in his I guess initial DNA to be. So Benson's not going to be that guy for you. Fogle needs to hit more because he can hit. He needs to stop being so scared out there because you can also quiet him down with fear. But if he needs Cassian in the lineup so he can feel stronger. Is Cassian back in today?
No.
Is he at a protocol? No? Fuck. So like, that's the thing that's the whole thing about having some team toughness. It makes a Tyler Benson feel a lot tougher. It makes a Warren Fogle feel a lot tougher, but they don't have that backup at all.
Lone bright spot recently, Yamamoto.
Yeah.
You know what? He's been awesome. That guy. So like reward that guy, like similar with McLeod, like Yamamoto's putting in the effort. Like, thank you, Yamamoto, because everyone else is sleeping and you're trying. And he's actually been producing, which was been his big thing. Oh, he's forechecking, not scoring. And that was his whole shtick. But now he's actually contributing and still being that annoyance, which, we need that. We need more of that, though.
I have never seen them look so gassed as I did in overtime on that 3-on-3. And they were out for 3 fucking minutes. Like, what the hell are they doing? You knew that game was going to be decided because we couldn't keep up with them in that overtime period. You just knew it.
Jay, do you remember
that goal too?
Do you remember what we talked about, Jay, on the last episode? We're sitting here during the losing streak, and you were like, "Why can't they just get a point and get these games to overtime?" And I said, "Well, the problem is they're just so damn good in OT that every time they get there, they win."
Yeah.
And sure as shit, the next 2 games they fucking lose in overtime. I was dying thinking about it.
Both bad goals, like bad goals to lose in overtime with.
Yeah, those are both. You can't be giving up wrist shot goals in 3-on-3 OT. Like, everyone's pretty much covered. You need to be playing the shooter. You can't let those slip through.
We need to make some fucking moves, and we need to move now. Now, not wait till the trade deadline and let prices fucking shoot through the roof. Now. No.
How hard is it? Yaremchuk, do you know this? How hard is it in this COVID type of scenario we're in to make moves right now?
Just the league's quiet right now. There's not enough teams firmly committed to being sellers outside of like Arizona. Montreal doesn't have a ton they can even really move off from. So I'm just like, I'd love for them to go get Lawson Krause. If they had a 2nd round pick, maybe that's a deal you would be able to get done right away. But I don't think you're getting Lawson Krause for like next year's 2nd or next year's 3rd. You have to offer up something substantial for that. So like, would Arizona do like Samurikov for Krause? Probably not. I don't think that's enough. So I don't know how you can muster up enough offer wise to get Lawson Krause in here. He's a former 1st round pick. Are you willing to part with your 1st round pick this early to get Lawson Krause in? Because that's what it would take to get the deal done. I'm not sure I pay that price for Lawson Krause right now. I want more.
Sorry, is it more expensive now than the trade deadline?
I think so, because Arizona would probably sit there and go, you're one of the only teams calling. If we just wait another month, we'll have 6 teams calling and we'll be able to kind of put everyone against each other and increase the bidding, right? So if you're going to go get them right now, like, I don't think the prices really go up or down that crazy, just because right now Arizona's going to go, well, at the deadline, there's a chance we get a 1st. So if you want them now and you want the extra 2 months, you're giving us a 1st.
Why are we not trying to I shouldn't say fleece them. But why are we not trying to get Chychrun and Krause in the package deal and fucking throw in Phil the Thrill?
Oh, Philly Thrill! We don't got that kind of dough.
Throw them all in. Why aren't we trying to do that? I'm not saying that is the answer, other way. But why aren't we trying to do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't project a trade without saying what goes the other way. What goes the other way?
2 1st round picks. Definitely not Samurikov. I wish we didn't start him because we just fucking cratered his trade value.
Salaries. You got to send some dough.
You got to send some dough.
If you're getting,
we'd have to do that.
If you're getting both of them, it's probably 2 firsts, Broberg, Yamamoto, and Koskinen.
Oh! Now, yeah, that's yeah.
Do it.
Like, you gotta give a lot to get a lot. And I understand Oilers fans might sit there and be like, you're insane. 2 firsts and Broberg and Yamamoto.
When's the last time the Oilers made a deal of any real significance to the lineup? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves.
They gave up a 2nd and a 3rd for $5.5 million Duncan Keith, who's played 2 great games, by the way. I will say
we signed Hyman, which is not a trade, but we signed Hyman.
That's a signing. Fair.
That's a signing, yeah. But like we've lost every fucking trade.
When's the last time the Oilers traded a 1st round pick, Yaremchuk?
They haven't traded a first round pick in a while.
It's been a long time.
Like they gave up 2 seconds for Athanasiou. And before that, like they've had their first round pick.
It's probably 06.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we weren't
Well,
trading.
how can
We were sellers after 06.
Yeah, it's
We
like
were
we're getting
sellers most of the years.
Yeah, we're not getting dunked on in trades. That's not why we suck. It's time
No,
to
we
make
are
some
getting
moves.
dunked on in trades, though. We are getting dunked on.
But we're not
Every
trading
trade
like
we do, we lose.
The pantry is embarrassing. We haven't gone and spent first round draft picks in recent memory, damn near a generation.
Yeah,
No,
like drafting could be better. We've got some interesting prospects now, but like, yeah, we could have been way better at drafting for sure.
I think that's a great point by Wanye. Like the cupboard's not bare. Like you can look up and down. One, your core up front is firmly intact with McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge. Throw Fogle in there for Puljujarvi, Yamamoto. You got good young pieces. We're going to be here for a while. Forward group is set. You got the prospects. You got Borgo, Holloway, Lavoie, Carter Savoy's coming up, Matvey Petrov, Tyler Tullio. Like you have 6 B level or better prospects in the forward group. You need to be dangling your first round pick this year because your prospect pool looks good there. Even on the blue line, like Evan Bouchard is going to be.
We need wins now.
Yeah.
Move our next 2. We could make 3 big moves in terms of acquire 3 good pieces, and I don't know who the fuck they are, but we can get 3 good pieces right now that can make us a real decent threat in the playoffs.
We have a 3-year window before we win the Bedard draft. We have to make these years count before we get other Connor.
Have I been under a rock, or what is happening with Dylan Holloway? You didn't even name him.
I named him in the forwards, I think. But either way, he's still recovering. He's still recovering from a hand.
Skating in? Oh, that
skating.
Hand injury is driving me nuts.
I bet you he's playing AHL hockey by the time they get to their bye week, and there'll be a lot of talk late February that he'll come up. Just a hunch.
Yeah, I hope so. That's a guy.
Look how we're back to relying on these long shot things.
But he's also 19. So like that's great, but like you can't hang your hat on that. Like it's such a gamble.
We're not going to lose Leon and Connor because this kid's going to come into the NHL and make a 19-year-old impact.
Torch his development either. Like maybe it's best he stays down for the rest of the year, like or stays down a little bit longer to really blow the doors off the AHL and make sure that he's NHL ready as opposed to rushing it. Like playing 5 weeks or 4 weeks.
Even though he's 19, like if the reports on this guy are correct, like if you think he can come in and be a good source of offense on your third line, you do it, right? He skates well. He's a pretty big body. Like you sacrificed a little bit of development to get him up here now. I think you do. To wrap up the Oilers.
But insulate him. You know who he needs? Yeah. He needs he either needs fucking Cassian to fucking wake the hell up because he's gone back. He's back in the hibernation den. Or you get a guy like Lawson Krause. Like Dylan Holloway's going to need a guy like that because if you want him to run around and hit, he's not going to do it at the NHL because he's fucking 19 and not fully developed and fucking scared of everyone. And I would be too. He needs someone to feel safe with.
We're going to wrap up the Oilers talk here with our hardest worker of the week for TradesLink. TradesLink, a social platform startup for trades dedicated to advancing the careers and community of the trades. It's a local thing here in Edmonton. They're ready to go now. If you go, you can download TradesLink and all that stuff. Their platform is live. A couple of the features that I love: promote your top skills with vouchers. You can keep a digital wallet of your certifications and your education. Access and create jobs, add work experience in projects. You can update it at real time. It's like LinkedIn for the trades. I think it's perfect for here in Edmonton. So go give it a download if you work in the trades. That's TradesLink. Hardest worker. Are we all in agreement that it's Kyler Yamamoto? Like that's got to be the guy, right? Like he's been the one. It's either him or Ryan McLeod, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd give it to Yamo.
All right, there you go.
He wants it.
Yamo or McLeod for me. Those two guys have been moving well. They've been creating turnovers. They've been creating scoring chances. And
I'm also going to needs to get on TradesLink, and he needs to start looking for some skills like hard,
make some fucking trades.
Finishing.
You know who's on TradesLink? Who's looking for who's got all those skills?
Dylan Krause. Yeah.
I also want to give an honorable mention for hardest workers of the week for my back. That's going to be after doing all the shoveling when I get home. That's going to be hard working. Shout out my back.
Fair enough.
I'll give my mention for hardest worker of the week. I like this story about the Seattle Kraken fan who got the attention of a Vancouver Canucks trainer and told him that the thing on the back of his neck was cancerous and that he needed to go get it looked at. And sure as shit, it was. And it might have saved his life.
They got her $10,000 scholarship. She's a medical student.
Yeah. That was just a great feel-good story, right? That was
story,
literally what I had written down next, Chalmers. Was
Look how smart the Kraken are. They're making up fake storylines. They're making up fake storylines so their franchise is associated with positivity during a negative time. It's genius.
It was the Canucks actually who came out with this.
Oh, was it? Or was that lady that was behind the bench a Seattle actor? Yaremchuk.
No, I am not even close to that jaded. This is just a legit feel-good story.
What if I told you that mole is CGI paid for by the Climate Pledge Arena?
If I stole your feel-good story of the week, you can go to some other fun things that happened in sports this last weekend.
I want to talk to you about one thing, Chalmers, if you're going to get into this right now.
Say it, because I guarantee it's one of them.
I yelled out to myself, all we need now is for him to drop a mixtape. And then no shit, an hour later, he tweeted a link to his mixtape after retiring mid-game or whatever that was.
Antonio Brown
put out a mixtape.
No, I know. I know. It's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know if you remember this year, Chuck, but like a couple years or 3-4 years ago, do you remember week 17 when he refused to go in for the Pittsburgh Steelers? You remember that?
Yeah.
Chalmers, I'm going to embarrass myself. I have no earthly idea who this guy was until he did this. Can you just give me like a brief rundown? Has he done other crazy shit?
This guy has done so many crazy things that you wouldn't even understand.
Really? I've never honestly.
This guy, at one point for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was probably the best wide receiver in the league, and he was going first in fantasy drafts. He was a prolific football player, like one of the best. And he has had such a fall from grace. I don't even think I can remember all of them. The things that come to mind are he refused to go into a game and he would just wear his big jacket and wouldn't go into the game. There's a video out there circulating of him in a doctor's office where he's getting shock therapy and the doctor's down low and he's standing up and he just consistently continues to fart in the guy's face. And it's a video on social media. You can research. You can find this. It's
I'll be all right.
Embarrassing, cringeworthy thing in the world. There's all the stuff that he did with the Las Vegas Raiders, which was just I don't even remember it because it was so crazy. I don't know. Yaremchuk, can you think of anything else? Because I know there's a whole list. Brown thing.
Let's go with the one from this year where he's just coming off his suspension for using a fake vaccine card, where it only came to light, I think, because his team or his personal chef, who Antonio Brown got the card from, was like, hey, you have to pay me. And AB wasn't paying him. And he was like, all right, fuck you. I'm going to go public with the fact you asked me to get you a fake vaccine card. So the NFL suspended him for 3 games for using a fake vaccine card.
He also had an injury too, didn't he? That's irrelevant anyway.
Well, so his side of the story, I guess, if you could call it this, is that he didn't think he was healthy enough to play this week. And he told them he didn't want to play. And the team was pretty much like, well, either you're playing or leave. And he was like, then I'll leave. So he left in the middle of the game.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. He's a complicated character. And I think he's obviously got some stuff that has maybe gone undiagnosed potentially, but it's funny on the surface, but then you kind of read into it and you're like, ah, damn, like this is a dude who's clearly not doing well in his own skin, you know?
So he once, oh my God, he once had a private chef come over and cook a big meal for everybody, for like a bunch of people, and it was a very, very expensive meal. And when he went into the freezer, he saw fish heads that were put in the freezer that were left over from the meal. He thought that the cook was trying to scare him and therefore kick the chef out of his house and refused to pay him for the meal. When the chef said to him, these fish heads are just going to be used for soup later on. But he wouldn't pay him like a huge amount. He's kind of known for not paying people for doing, like, that was the whole vaccine thing. He wouldn't pay that guy.
That's what it was.
What was there was another one.
Let this be a lesson to everybody at home. If you're getting a fake COVID vaccine card off your private chef, pay the man. Don't screw around. Lesson over.
All right, I'm going to get this thing back on the rails here because that's what I do with a little love to Oodle Noodle and DoorDash, the best combo in Edmonton next to 97 and 29. Am I right? We aren't doing the promo code anymore, but you still have the promo code RealLifeDD, which gets you 25% off and no delivery fees on your first order when you use DoorDash. And why not use it to order some delicious Oodle Noodle? As part of a look back through 2021, I put out the call on social media and asked people for their favorite podcast memories of the year. I figured now would be a good time to share some of the ones we got. Nick's Sports 1 on Instagram said either future Wanye or Wanye's neighbor. I think both of those are great, but the future Wanye bit, which never...
That wasn't me.
It had a short shelf life, but the future Wanye bit was very good.
Did we ever play them? Did we ever play them on the podcast?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but not for Wanye.
Just
I don't want to hear myself mimicked.
Fair enough. Huskies _62 said Mousegate, which is in one of the intros. And Mousegate was, and that one gave us that was mid-pandemic shit that gave us a solid 3 episodes of entertainment. Mousegate's
I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you had such fun.
We did.
Yeah. Our Knicks 3 said from the Christmas episode, Jay, the pond hockey ice size is 140 by 75. Tyler, inches? ? That was clearly a joke, but I'm glad you laughed. Jason S on Twitter said the Robert Kraft incident. Yikes.
Yaremchuk. Everybody's highlights are your lowlights.
No, Bobby Brizzle gotta be the basement flood. That was a low light.
Oh yeah.
That was
Burrito
Gate.
Yeah.
Burrito Gate. Yeah. That one gave us some good content as well. But again, definitely a low light for me personally on the year. Surveyor Brett sent in just a 3-second audio clip. So I'm going to play that quickly. I will wear a male romper to the next Oilersnation party. I will. Well, then, yeah, he cherry picked that, but it made sense, I suppose. The male romper clip. So those are some of the top memories from our listeners over the last year. And we look forward to 2022.
We appreciate everyone who's listening.
We have in closing this, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to our Nation Real Life Fantasy Football League, but there is a barn burner for the final.
I set my watch by it, Chalmers.
Which comes down to tonight. Well, we know you don't care because you're not even in the damn thing. But it's all coming down to 2 people. At T Marcotte 19, who is our boy Travis Marcotte, and Electric Jordan.
Oh, boy, Electric.
At Electric Jordan. They are going head to head right now. And their team names, so Travis's team name is Hot Chub Time Machine.
Mm-hmm.
That is fitting because he needs Nick Chubb on the other team to go for 0 tonight, where he has Nikhil Harris going, and he is playing Electric Jordan, whose team name is Barry McCockner. So it's 130 to 119. It's all going to come down to tonight. These boys both, they both finished with a 12-3 record. Travis was 12-3. Jordan was 10-5. So it is a battle of the big boys. So it's going to be an exciting one tonight. I'm excited. I don't know who I hope wins. Electric Jordan, he's always been so engaging on there. So I don't know. Got to pull for him.
All right.
You guys don't give up. It was a bad year. I tuned out on fantasy. I had a bad year on all accounts. I didn't have the time to be a good GM and sucked. So I am waiting for next year. So congrats. Best of luck, boys. I hope Chubb goes off, even though the Browns are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Are you having a good time with your real life foosball, Chalmers? Are you enjoying that thing?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good. I also I work hard at being good at it. And it's just like in a year like this where you have injuries and just nonstop COVID, games get moved to Tuesdays. It's just such a mind fuck, I guess you could call it. Because you work hard, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. I mean, if you see some of the things that can solve leagues. You know, we're talking in our other league, a Hunter Renfroe down by contact cost a guy a championship, you know, and it's like
by a finger. A finger
by
touched
a finger.
him while he was already falling anyways. A finger touches him and they rule him down by contact.
Crazy breaks, man. Betting on football is not for the faint at heart.
I had a great win yesterday, though. No, that's not either.
Okay. So I talked about how during the NHL, I guess, break, if you will, I was getting to college football and I did good. I was 5-2 and I took everything I won from college football and then some, because this was going to be my opportunity to make up for my Oilers losses. And I took Michigan in I think it was the Cotton Bowl or the Orange Bowl against Georgia. Whoops.
Orange. Yeah.
Whoopsies. And then I was so mad about that. I thought for sure the Oilers were finally going to turn it around. So I was trying to bet my way out of that jam by going back to the Oilers, and that didn't work out. So it's been a rough 5 days of betting for me.
Me too. It's chasing. The story of my last 5 days has been chasing, and it sucks.
Chasing. I had a great day yesterday. I hit a nice.
Chasing means you lose a bet, and then you put more money on the next bet, try to make up for the last one. And then when that one loses, you put even more money on the next one to try to make up for the last two. And then
you know what you're doing there? You're chasing.
Yeah.
Shout out to PointsBet, who sponsors all of our great betting talk here across the nation. Got exciting stuff planned with them in 2022. I wanted to end the podcast. I talked about the 2020. What did you hit?
No, we kept interrupting. You said you hit something big. So we wanted to share our horrible losses. Now share your tremendous win.
So every week I do a touchdown scorer parlay. But I do like the round robin parlays, right? So I pick 5 of them. And then if 4 of them hit, I profit. If 3 hit, I kind of get my money back. And if 5 hit, I do really well. So all 5 of them hit yesterday. So I won a nice couple hundred.
Who was the least likely to score that you picked?
But that's the thing with my touchdown score parlay is I only pick minus guys. So like I had Kamara minus 143, Michelle minus 125, Singletary at minus 102, Montgomery at minus 125, and then Adams at minus 167. So it's plus 389, a little bit more than that. So just a little bit more than 4-1, 5-1.
You didn't have Braxton Berrios on there?
I loaded up on Braxton Berrios in DraftKings. I took him in like 60% of my pools. And at one point early in the morning, off my $20 in entries, I was winning like $890. And then it fell apart and I ended the day with like $100 off my $20, which is still good on DK.
That guy is so he's been good the last few weeks. And as a fantasy guy, as a fantasy player, he's been tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Berrios and Zay Jones have been my sneaky DraftKings plays the last few weeks. And Zay Jones has been going off too. Anyways, okay, I have something that I need to say. Damn it. We look back on our 2021 memories. Lots of great things. Ahead to 2022, our first chance to make a good memory is with our friends at Tourism Jasper. We announced on Instagram today that we're going to be doing the pond hockey tournament out there. And there's links on the Oilersnation Instagram. And I think you can dig up a tweet. I'll go retweet it from this podcast account right now as well. But we're doing a pond hockey tournament out at the Fairmont JPL. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to have a team. You can play against us. I think the Oilers might even play that weekend. So we'll be doing a ton of fun stuff out there
in
with
the
our
pond hockey tournament.
Oh yeah. Wait, no, the Oilers aren't playing in the pond hockey tournament. The Oilers play that
the
weekend.
Oilers in the pond hockey tournament. Oh.
Anyways, it's retweeted from the real life account. You can see the link there. Fun to team up with our friends at Tourism Jasper. It'll be fun to get out on the ice with the Oilersnation team. All right.
I'm at us. Can't wait. Hopefully, and actually not hopefully, we know it's going to be starting, I think, next week. It's going to stop being the Arctic and be normal winter temperatures, which I can't
take it anymore. I'm losing my shit here, boys.
Yeah, this one's been a grind.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 14-day forecast here for Jasper, and I know that stuff can obviously always change, but it will get better, which is great to see.
Stuck in the house with my kids, and we can't leave.
Chalmers is coming unglued, boys.
I'm coming unglued, boys. Just sitting in my truck crying in the middle of the afternoon.
I can't handle it, boys.
I can't take this shit anymore.
All right, that's going to do it for another episode 342 of the Real Life Podcast, brought to you by the HGA Group. Shout out to all our other sponsors as well. Shout out to you for listening. We'll be back on Thursday.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Don't want to miss any of our nonsense? Hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.